Okay guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video, as you've probably guessed by the title, I will be going over my Nomad build. Now, as you go along, it'll probably be the same as how everybody else runs it, but I like to think that I run things a little bit differently. But without further ado, let's get into it. Let's quickly start off with the skills that I run. I run a booster shot, which I'll go over shortly as to why, and obviously I run an immune to get rid of those nasty pred bleeds or flame turrets that I've recently come out with the new Firecrest. So, into the talents, I run with the two really important ones, critical save and combat medic. Critical save obviously increasing your damage resistance by 20% for 10 seconds when you use a medkit at low health, which for this build is really important. Combat medic, obviously if you're playing within a group, combat medic is a must because obviously those medkits can be used for your group. Next, same as my striker build, I absolutely love this talent, strike back, reach low health to reduce active skill cooldowns by 20%. So, and this one, it can be quite a important one because if you want to get as much damage from this build as possible, because Nomad isn't known for its possible damage outlet, this is important because you will obviously be coming in and out of that last segment of health quite often if you use your medkits appropriately and on the move, because if you kill a hostile while moving, it will reduce incoming damage for 15% for 10 seconds, which for this build again, because you know you want to increase your survivability for what it is quite important. So onto the build itself, I run with the house. Recently, thanks to farming and playing with the group that I play with, I got a new house which for these builds works perfectly. It has deadly, responsive and card counter. I'm not going to go over card counter because as everybody knows now, card counter is a really good talent. Responsive to have on an SMG is really good, and deadly for that all important crit damage is also quite important. On my lightweight M4, I run with deadly, unforgiving and determined. The reason I use this is purely for determined. It's the same as on my striker build. I want to get that ult back as quickly as possible, because if I can pop a green, if I can pop a blue, or I can pop a tech link in those situations, it can save your group's life quite often. Now, on my pistol, I run with predatory just to get that extra healing. So if I have my ult, I can quickly swap to my pistol, smack them, and get some health back. So my main stats run at 382,708 primary firepower, 416,000 toughness. I'd love to get my toughness up, but I've kind of locked myself with some of the gear pieces, as I'll quickly go over shortly. So on my chest piece, health, exotic damage, resilience to get rid of some of that bleed. I don't run with a lot of EDR. I should on this build because a lot of people in groups now do utilise the use of that bleed, but you know, it's kind of the roll of the dice here. I needed ammo capacity because my ammo count on this build was shite. Anyway, onto the Nomad build itself. 15% health on kill, which in my opinion, if you've got NPCs around you while you're fighting and your group takes some of the aggro from the guy shooting at you, you can go kill an NPC quickly and get some of your health back. 3-piece grants a constant small amount of healing, allowing the user to regenerate all segments of health bar during combat. Yeah, we'll skip that because I've got 6-piece, so it doesn't really matter. When receiving fatal damage, you are instead healed for full health. Can occur once every 4 minutes. Again, I'll skip that purely because of the 6-piece. So the 5-piece, which is really important, you get an extra 10% health on kill, which is cracking, as I've already mentioned before. Increases the amount of healing from Nomad Resolves. Nomad Resolve will now overheal, so you can basically go into a fight with an extra 140% health, I believe it is, which really does help because people will struggle to chew through that overheal that you've got. Okay, now to the 6-piece. Nomad's Luck. 50% chance, to have no cooldown for the Path of Nomad. Takes 60% less damage for 10 seconds after Path of the Nomad is triggered. So what that basically means is that if you're lucky with your RNG, you practically are invincible. So for a solo build, this is fantastic. Now onto the mods. I run with Stamina and Skill Haste. The reason I want to get Skill Haste, and this comes back to the booster shot, is that this build is not known for its DPS. So realistically, if I can get that booster shot back ASAP, I can crack out so much DPS. They'll be absolutely surprised, and it also runs in conjunction with the skills that I've got, not the skills, the talents that I've got on my house. So I can basically chew through people, as you saw in the video that's prior to this, that it really, really does work. Its primary stat roll is on stamina. Now running over to the mask. The mask again is rolled onto firearms. And the chest is rolled onto firearms. Excuse me, I've got the stamina mods, got a little bit confused. Now I run with skill power here just to get some form of heal from a booster shot, and damage to elites. The reason I've got damage to elites again is because if I can kill some NPCs while I'm in combat, I can get some health, I can go back into combat with a little bit more health, and I'm not so squishy in the terms of if I can get that health on kill. Now going over to the stats again, it's stamina with the skill haste. Now to my knee pads. Rolled into firearms again. I do suggest that you try and get as much firearms out of this build as possible. Reason being is because, as I've said prior, Nomad is not known for its DPS. So if you can get as much firearms without becoming too squishy on this build, you're laughing basically. Now, my knee pads, in terms of the minor attributes, is shocking. They're shy. I do want some new knee pads. But anyway, crit damage, I'll go over to my character once I've gone through the build so you can see what my crit damage is, but I do like running crit damage instead of health on my knee pads purely because it's more DPS and I can try and up my DPS on this build a little bit more. I'm not going to go over the minor attributes, but what I would like is shock resistance. I want disorient. I want disrupt resistance, and I do want burn resistance now because of Fire Crest. Now going over to my backpack, I'm locked with skill power. On my backpack, I would either like to run with health or crit damage, but I'm locked with skill power because again I wanted that ammo capacity. But on all my pieces, apart from the backpack, so I can unlock the electronics requirement for predatory on the pistol, I've got first aid self-heal and first aid self-heal with the electronics mod of health. The reason I've got first aid self-heal again is because I really do want to get some form of use out of that booster shot, so it's literally not just there for my DPS. So my booster shot with these performance mods isn't completely useless, but you know, it comes down to personal preference. You don't have to follow this build. This is just how I like to run with my Nomad. Anyway, onto the gloves. So I've got it rolled into stamina. I've got crit chance, skill haste, and SMG damage. The reason I'm stacking so much let me get my words out. The reason I'm stacking so much skill haste onto this build is because I want that booster shot back as soon as possible. Now, finally, holster. My electronics roll on this is the reason why I have to use an electronics mod. If you can unlock predatory on your pistol, then you can, you know, sort that out as and when you need to, and put an extra firearms mod there or an extra stamina mod to increase your health a little bit. So again, running with skill haste because, as I've said, I want as much skill haste as possible to get back that booster. Now going over to my character, crit chance is a bit shocking at 18.5%. Crit damage again. Oh, that's on my assault rifle. Go to the house right quick. There we go, that's looking a bit better now. 37% crit chance and 106% crit damage. I do want a little bit more crit damage, not going to lie, but it's the roll of the dice on this build and what I've been given. So if you can stack as much into crit damage as possible, your DPS for this build will be a lot better. Also, I've got some headshot damage because my actually isn't too bad. It's not the best, but with the headshot damage, I can get that little bit more DPS off. So guys, if you did like this video, please give it a like. Peace. Subscribe, and as always, it's been Red Dawn, and I'll see you in a bit.